I never really understood why people were so into Darth Maul. I mean, yeah, he looks powerful, but every time I watch him, something just feels off. And the more I think about it, the harder it is to ignore. It's probably because I've watched Star Wars since I was a kid, but there's a galaxy of stories I still don't know. And Darth Maul is one of those. It always felt like people liked him just to look cool. He's kind of this badass that doesn't really do much. Now, everything about him screams power, but he loses all the time, and he creates a lot of chaos. I mean, you could say he took out Qui-Gon Jinn, but that's like if Jet Li fought the dude. You know, this wasn't really a fair fight to begin with. Now, don't get me wrong, especially after Clone Wars, I actually like him now. That's what made it so weird, because seriously, he gets cut in half, falls who knows how far, and just comes back. Like, what? And once he was back, that's when I started getting stuck on it. Not in a lore way, just in a basic, why did they do this kind of way? Why bring him back? Because no matter where Maul shows up, no matter how much power he gets, even when he's winning, even when he takes the dark saber, even when he's ruling Mandalore, it never really goes anywhere. And I just keep thinking, what did any of this actually change? That's when I started noticing the same thing over and over. Every version of Maul feels different on the surface. Different outfit, different title, different position. He's got new legs, but somehow it always plays out the same way. Because the moment he shows up, you already know how it's going to go. He's angry. He's intense. He's obsessed with revenge. And everything around him starts moving faster and more chaotic, which feels like momentum until you realize it isn't. Because the end result always feels the same. Someone else steps in. Something slips through his fingers. He gets his ass kicked again. The moment passes and you almost don't notice it happening. Even when he's technically in charge, it never feels like he's actually steering anything. It's like he's always reacting, always chasing, always one step behind the thing he wants most. And that's when it starts to bother me so much. Because the more powerful he becomes, the smaller his world starts to feel. Not bigger, not broader, smaller. Because it's never about building something new. It's never about changing the game. It's always about the same thing. The same enemy, the same pain, the same loop. And once you understand that, once you see that, you start realizing this isn't just about Maul anymore. And this is where I think people get him wrong. I know at least that's where I got him wrong, because we tend to read all of that intensity as strength. The anger, the obsession, the way he dominates every scene he's in. It looks like power, but it isn't. It's just noise, because real power actually does something. It changes the situation. It moves things forward. And Maul never really does. He reacts. He lashes out. He chases the same thing over and over and over. And I think that's where he feels powerful without ever actually being effective, which bothers me. We see someone who's loud and intense and willing to burn everything down, and we just assume that means they're in control. But Maul isn't in control of anything. Not his fate, not his future, not even himself. He's completely owned by the one thing he can't let go of. He is just dominated by his revenge. And the wild part is, the more power he gets, the less room he has to become anything else. That's why Maul never grows. He just escalates. New position, new authority, same outcome. And once you see that, it stops feeling like bad writing. It stops feeling like wasted potential. It starts feeling intentional. Because Maul isn't a story about power. He's a story about what happens when rage becomes your identity. When everything you do is in response to something that already happened. And that's why his story never really moves forward. Not because he isn't strong, but because strength without direction doesn't build anything. It just destroys, consumes, and then waits for the next thing to destroy. So yeah, Darth Maul looks powerful, but nothing ever changes. And once you realize that, it's hard to ignore. Do you think Maul ever could have escaped that? Who's another character people mistake intensity for power with?